Now, a portal is this. It's a doorway, an entrance, or a gate, especially one that is large and imposing. It's an entrance or a means of entrance. And one phrase is the portal vein. So portals are gates, they're doorways, they're entrances to something. But since Satan can't open a portal in heaven because he's been cast down, he can't open one in hell because nobody from there can leave. So he opens them in time, and he seeks to manipulate time. Hallelujah. Now, in this, when you start seeing things like this, during the time when Obama became president, there was the Great Hadron Collider in Switzerland, we know as CERN. It began to crank up. Do we have a picture of the CERN thing? Show me just that one, that latest one. Yeah, that there. See? Apollo, and it sits on that temple. It has the god Shiva out front of it, the god of destruction. And so when they begin to do this, people begin to wonder, what are they doing? Because when they crank up such a power, do you know that thing has the power, if it keeps increasing, it really has the power of like a nuclear bomb per second or per so many. I mean, it has, and it starts disrupting things. And when they do, they notice that when their thing was, we're going to discover the God particle, the God particle. Well, now they brought the spiritual end in it right then. They gave you a clue. They're up to something spiritual. So they started turning, they started opening this thing. And when they would open it up, then faces would begin to appear in the other dimensions. And one of the scientists said, maybe if it opens up, something will step through it. So they're wanting something to come from another dimension. But they cannot. I don't know. Here, somebody help me. Yeah. I have nothing else. No, I don't know if anybody heard it, but that was on my body. Now, we plead the blood over this thing. Are y'all with me? So they begin to turn this thing, and they see these faces, but they couldn't get them to cross. So they realized that they had to have religious rituals to call them over. And so you started seeing like Madonna going around and dressing like ancient pagan goddesses and things, doing rituals on stage. And she was doing it at the same time CERN was getting ready to get up to power, September 23rd, 2015. She was touring around with her album, Rebel Heart, and the theme of her tour was desecration of the bride and the welcoming of fallen angels. She would go to Madison Square Garden. The Pope went to Madison Square Garden. She'd go to Philadelphia. How about that? The Pope would go to Philadelphia. On and on it was going. And CERN released they did a play dedicating their new rail that come up out of the ground. And when this play, they had dignitaries there. They did a flyover salute with airplanes and all this. And while they're sitting there, people so clean cut in suits and ties that looked like you could have eaten off the back of their hand. They're so clean. sit there while the workers of CERN, dressed in orange prison suits and hard hats, came marching up like zombies up out of hell. And they came up out on this level floor, and they began to do these moves and everything. And then all at once, you could tell when a demon hit the platform. And when this demon started running through the platform, they went crazy and started stripping their clothes off and simulating ungodliness there in front of everybody while people were watching. And then the cameras went over to people trying to scale the walls and break through this dimension of time, this glass or whatever it was, and people, some would fall and die, and then the others would replace them, and showing you that human sacrifice was needed. And then they would keep trying to break through, and then all at once, in the height of the orgy, in the height of all that was going on, suddenly the goat man, Baphomet, that Albert Pike with the Freemasons, said these words. He's the one, the founder of it, said, "What we tell the world is there is a God." He said, "But our God, the God of the Freemasonry, is based on the Luciferian doctrine." And he said, if Lucifer wasn't God, then why did Adonai spread so many rumors about him? And so they just kept going, and he kept going. And Albert Pike said, "I tell you, Satan or Lucifer is God." And it was that Baphomet creature that walked out of that glass when they broke through at CERN. And it goes off with people half nude and him standing there grinning and sitting down on the floor. If that don't tell you the dimension they're trying to open and who they're trying to get through, I don't know what does. Well, Revelation 9 says this. It says, an angel fell to the earth and was given a key to the bottomless pit. He knew how to open it. And he said he opened it. And when he opened it, it said they came up out of the bottomless pit of smoke. And out of that he came, and they came with the hordes of demonic forces that had been locked in the underworld all of this time. And Satan he tried and he never could get that lid open. But suddenly in Revelation 9, after Revelation 4, when the church is caught away, suddenly in 9 it's opened. And they come out. And he said they had a king over them, and his name was Apollyon. And they built CERN on the temple of Apollo. And the god Shiva, the god of destruction, out front. And right about that same time, Obama came out on the cover of Newsweek as Shiva. And they called him God of all things. Somebody pointed out to me the other day, God of all things, goat. They tell what they're trying to do. And all of this has to do with portals. Portals. But Satan can't open the portal to the underworld. Something restrains him. They try and they try. But a weasel closed CERN down once. Then they try to open it in heaven, but they can't. So they open it in time. Show my corridor of time again. So they open corridors in time.